Hi, good evening, all of you, for this webinar on roadblock for opportunities in data analytics for finance professional. So I will start with our background. There are three speakers. I am Bridge, uh, and we have Deepak and we have Surendra. So this is me, my background. I am a CEO of 2002 batch. I have over a decade of work experience where I have worked with company Shaw Wallace, which was then taken over by UB Group, Vijay Mallya Group, with Pepsi, and then Unilever. And then I moved into education industry, where I was involved in running an international school in Vadodara. And then I'm also a founder of Mera Skill, and also a trustee of an alternate school in Mulund called Bodhi Vidyalaya. So this is my introduction. Uh, we have Deepak. Deepak is a champion in on data analytics. Deepak, would like to give your introduction, or should I? Because there are too many things on the slide. I think it'll be good if you can
Sure, sure.
give your introduction.
So, I'm a qualified chartered accountant and a data scientist by profession. I qualified in the year 2012, and since then, I have been working with. I worked with Infosys and EY into finance, forensic risk and advisory, and analytics. For the last couple of years, I am full time into analytics, into data science, and using machine learning algorithms, artificial intelligence to see how we can effectively solve business problems and give valuable advice to business clients. So that is it from my side.
Okay, great. Thank you, Deepak. Then we have Surendra. Surendra, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Surendra Prasad. I am a 2012 ICAA passed out. I have a decade experience in finance and accounts. I have started my career working as a project controller with a company by name McNally Bharat Engineering. Uh, there onward, I moved to another company by name called Transcon. Right now, I'm working with a Dutch MNC company by name called Hopac as an executive cost accountant. And since 2 months, I am involved with this data analytic course.
Great. Thank you, Surendra, for your introduction. So what we have done is we have for this webinar uh, we have asked a lot of people, predominantly all finance fraternity. We have reached out to finance fraternity, and we have asked them to give their understanding about what do they think as a roadblock for a successful career in data analytics. So what we have done is we have collated all the questions, and then we have categorized the question. Although the categorization was a little difficult because a lot of questions were overlapping. So what we have done is we have hold on, let me just. Can you please mute yourself, all of you who are not there? So yeah, so one who is not speaking, if you can mute yourself. Yeah. So we have categorized the questions, and a lot of questions were overlapping. So this is a broad category. So what we will do is the format of the session, the way we have planned up. Uh, I will read the question, and Deepak, being an expert, and Surinder, being who is undergoing this training program, will reply to the question. So this is the format in which we have kept. And also, let me give a disclaimer in the beginning that we have a course on data analytics. So I think so that's the disclaimer. That's our about this course. So I think without further ado, let me just start with the uh, the first set of questions, which were on around understanding and myth around data analytics. So this is the format: understanding and myth. Then we have all questions around what opportunities, and then questions around data analytics in finance, their usage, etc., etc. And then about all the questions revolving around how one learns and the challenges around learning data analytics, and then some questions about what is data, etc. So the first set of question is understanding and myth about data analytics. So these are the set of questions. You might find that a lot of questions are also overlapping. So that is how it is. So the first question is, it is generally considered to be an advanced level skill. So Deepak, what is your take on that? Is it an advanced level?
Bridge will not say it's an advanced level thing because we have been doing analysis since our childhood. Now, if you say 2 plus 2 is equals to 4, so it is a sort of analysis that we have been doing, we have been learning since our childhood. So we have been doing this data analysis since ages, but it's only it has evolved into many branches of late, and the importance have grown many-fold of late. And due to the importance growing in all the sectors, you have multiple companies, multiple technology companies coming up in this domain and working. So it is not an advanced skill. uh, what analytical thinking that we have been doing in our finance or in our plus 2 level, or even if we go back in class 7 or 8, so same concept we will have to apply. It's only that to do those concepts earlier we were having this copy and pen to do those analysis, but right now we have programming language. So you feel that since due to this programming language you can call it as an advanced level skill, but the concept remains the same. I'll not say it's an advanced skill, but yeah, you have to learn technology, you'll have to learn various concepts, so that is there.
So when we say it's an advanced level skill and the way you've explained, there are predominantly three things which are required. One is an understanding a little bit of how to use program, that is a little bit of coding, statistics, and a deep business understanding and a strong communication. I think are these four pillars of data analytics what we are talking about, Deepak?
Yes, very much. But I'll just rearrange the order. First
Okay.
is business sense and analytical mindset. I'll keep that as first. Second, I'll say business problem solving, and third I'll go for coding thing. Little bit of coding thing. So I'll keep coding at the last priority, but the mindset and the analytical thinking is what companies generally look for.
So that way, it's not an advanced level skill. It's actually what we have been regularly doing. It's just people are not aware about what is data analytics. That's how it is.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And Bridge, one thing. I'll just put this thing here that many of us, we think that when it comes to data science, it has a lot of statistics and a lot of maths and a lot of computer science. I know it's only computer science people that can come into this, in this domain, in this sector, but it is totally a misconception. And one thing, I keep on reiterating everywhere, where I go for seminars and webinars, that, we as finance people, we as chartered accountants, we are very good at, understanding the numbers, behaviors of numbers. We are very good at numbers. So if we leverage this power that we have, we can do wonders, be it any domain, be it any domain. And data analysis is all about, playing around with data. So this is one advantage that we have. You talk about computer science people, they are very, very exceptionally well in coding stuff, creating web pages, creating good applications, which again is an end product of data science, because whenever we get into data science project, the end product happens to be a application which will run data analysis and machine learning algorithms at the back end. But they don't understand business, or even if they understand, they are not that skillful in understanding the nitty-gritties of how business works. So there is the advantage that we have compared to others. So it's only the a mental block, and I can say market conception, market notion that has grown, that only computer science background people and technical people who are well equipped with coding and stuff can get into this data science and data analysis stuff.
Okay. Then the second question was normally again about awareness and technical skills. So I think in bulk of the question we will see the myth is around technical skills, that it requires a lot of technical skills because a lot of people who are from finance background and finance fraternity, they have a little exposure or no exposure literally to coding. I think the only way they get involved in coding is someone who learns VBA, where they are, I mean, in terms of Excel usage. Apart from that, I think so always there's a big, what do you say, and they have heard so much things about coding. I think so it becomes a
Correct.
big, what is a
That
mountain.
is
That okay,
correct,
it,
correct. And it's only because of those, words that keep on, getting in the market, that coding, 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 which creates, sense of disbelief that we can get into this data science stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not only about coding. It's about how you solve problems for the client, how better you understand the problem which you have to solve for your client using the data that the client has. At the end of the day, it's all about solving problem, whether you solve it through Excel, you solve it through R, you solve it through Python. So even if you are solving a problem with the help of a simple copy and a pen, I mean, you have done wonders.
okay. Uh, Then again, I think the first three questions are all around technical aspects, technical background do you need? And I think Deepak, you also come from a finance background. So
Correct.
you coming from a finance background, how difficult it was for you to, in other words, they say technical aspect, but maybe understand a little bit of code and also how the entire data framework works. And when you say data analytics, what kind of data is required, how it works, how you derive utility, how difficult was that journey for you, both in terms of complexity and time, so that you have reached in a position where you are able to independently practice it?
Bridge, I would say that, see, my theory is whatever you don't know is difficult for you. 10 years back, 12 years back, I think a lot of disturbance. Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
You're
yes, yes.
audible. Also, I would request all of you who are not speaking to please mute yourself and unmute only if you have a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if anyone has any query, you can, put in that in the chat box so we can take additional questions if required.
right. Yeah, Deepak, you were talking
So,
about your journey.
yeah. So, see, 10 years back when we were in class 10 and 12, we didn't know Excel, right? So, Excel was tough for us. And the moment we entered in articleship uh, arena, slowly and steadily we started working with Excel, and then going in the corporate world, a lot of advanced Excel skills we had to imbibe within ourselves. So at one point of time we didn't know anything, but eventually during the course of our career, we mastered Excel. And nowadays, whatever analysis you have to do in Excel, you can easily do. You can do VLOOKUP, you can do HLOOKUP, you can do XLOOKUP, you can do anything, you can do Power Query. So it's only when you don't understand anything that is difficult for you. The moment you start understanding, I mean, it will be really helpful and will be very, a cakewalk. For example, we during our college days and plus 12, plus 2 level, we had this concept of correlation. Okay, so we understood the concept of correlation then just for the purpose of getting numbers pass होने के लिए करते थे. But in the real world now, when we are solving problem and now we are trying to understand correlation between two factors. For example, I have sales. When I'm doing sales analysis, I need to find correlation between various factors between marketing spends and sale, and I have to check how they are correlated, whether they are positively correlated, whether they are negatively correlated, whether they are not correlated at all, and if they are correlated, what is the strength of their correlation. So that point of time we were only learning for the purpose of getting marks, but right now we are using those concepts for the purpose of you know uh, serving this data science community. One another example I would give is, we would have learned linear algebra. For example, y equals to ax plus c. during our childhood days. So that point of time we were not having clarity what is y, what is m, what is x. But now since we are getting into this stuff, everything remains the same. You don't have to be a champion in statistics and maths. Everything remains same, whatever we have learned in +2 level and whatever we have learned in graduation level. So initially, say it was tough, but I'll not say it's impossible. Initially, for 1 month, 1.5 month, it would be, I'll not say tough, it will be overwhelming because you'll have to learn a lot of things. You'll have to learn statistics. I should say you'll have to brush up your statistics, whatever you have learned in class 12 and graduation. You'll have to brush up your mathematics skills. You'll have to learn programming. There are no n number of GUI based tools which can assist you doing analytics, but at the end of the day, it is advisable and it is very much said that using programming language you can do anything, because GUI based tools, they have limitations for their own. And so initially it would be a little overwhelming, I'll not say difficult, little overwhelming for 1.5 month, and eventually you'll pick up this pace. It's only 1.5 month push that you require, and after that things will start falling in place.
Great. Thank you, Deepak. But I'm sure as we proceed, there will be again a lot of these technical questions coming up in terms of how difficult it is, and
Now, so that's there. So, I mean, still today, I'm doing any project, I end up, getting myself entangled with a problem which I'm not able to solve for, 5 days, 7 days. I mean, and still I have to go through a lot of books and a lot of online tutorials to solve those problems. So that will be there. But initially, 1.5 month is what you require a good dedication. 1 hour of coding every day. I mean, I prefer coding at night. I at night around 10:30 when everything is silent, you take up your book, you take up your laptop, and you start coding for 1 hour. And you'll see that you start with half hour of coding, and after couple of days, 3 days, you start coding and you end up coding for 1 hour. Then you will increase your, so you get engrossed in the coding so much that after a month you are able to do coding for 3 hours, 4 hours at a stretch. So it's all about those initial push that you'll have to do for 1.5 months.
so true. Uh, uh, so it says that you need to have a basic understanding of data analytics. So one question, Deepak, which always there is this data analytics. This word is a misnomer, because I have understand that if each one of us has a different understanding about data analytics,
Mhm.
because either because of the work profile which you used to handle, for example, a simple pivot table is also a data analytics.
Correct.
When we use the word data analytics, we use the power of predictive analysis, where you're using the power machine or the programming language, machine learning, and we do predominantly predictive analysis. So can
Correct.
you clarify this little, because this is again a lot of people, and the most common understanding which people think about data analytics is presentation, about charts. So that's what they correlate to. When data analytics means making good presentation or making good graph. So that's the common misconception or myth around data analytics, which it would be good if you can just clarify this point. What is data analytics?
Yeah. So see, data analytics is not about preparing charts and data visualization. And I'll take a very small example. Now I had to find a correlation between my sales value and my marketing spends. So I can do it either by way of data visualization, or by way of simply finding the correlation number, correlation coefficient. So it can be 0.5, 0.7. So data visualization is a subset of entire data science or data analytics pipeline that we have. Now, coming to what is data analytics. So we do pivot table in Excel. Yes, that is data analytics, that is there. But that is a part of descriptive analytics that we generally do. And what is descriptive analytics? Descriptive analytics is something which has already happened, and we try to find that event with the help of historical data. Now, this historical data, this activity that we are doing is what we call as data analytics. But data analytics, so that descriptive analytics that we do, finding the root cause analysis and finding what has happened with the help of historical data, is a part of entire data science project, entire data analytics project. After that, there is something called predictive and prescriptive analytics, which is also a part of data analytics. So mere drag and drop and creating a pivot table, you cannot say that it's a data analytics. It's a part of data analytics that you are performing for yourself or your client. So data analytics broadly has four area. You have descriptive analytics, wherein you try to find what has gone wrong or what has gone right. Then you have something called diagnostic analytics, wherein you try to find the root cause for what has gone wrong or what has gone right. Next, you have predictive analytics, and then you have prescriptive analytics. So these four analytics, when combined together, we call it as a data analytics. So this terminology is used interchangeably by a lot of people, but in a broader sense, in a complete sense, when we combine all these four projects, all these four analytical methodologies, we term it to be a data analytics, or we can say data science.
Yeah. And when you use, when you say that you use, and when you are using the word data analytics, predominantly you are using in terms of predictive analysis and prescriptive analysis. Is that right?
Correct. Because nowadays, again, in this data science world, since these words are like hot cake and new to the market, lot of people, they don't have clarity to what each word means, so they use interchangeably. Okay, and when we call it as data analytics, lot of companies, in fact 90 to 95% of companies, they themselves are doing this descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics for them. So what they're more interested to understand is what would happen in the future, and that's where predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics get into get into the picture. So that is the whole concept of data analytics. You cannot say that once if I do data descriptive analytics, a simple pivot table, and we will term it to be a data analytics project.
Okay. So Deepak, also here I would like to spend a little more time, because I think all the audience, for people who are there, they are from finance fraternity and they are well versed with Excel, working with Excel. And so I think the common understanding is, before we come to you, a common understanding is that any problem you have, give it an Excel sheet, and like, I mean, we can solve the problem by using Excel sheet. That's a common understanding. So if you can give me an example of, or give us some example where we understand that this, and this is not possible to do it through a regular tool which we have been using, and we would require additional tools like maybe a Python or an R to provide a solution. So if you can just lay out few problems for us to also do that mental calculation in terms of whether we can do this with the existing tool.
Okay, sure. So I'll start my this thing with a very simple analogy that I keep following, is that Excel was initially built to record stuffs. Okay, it was initially built to organize your data in a structured manner, in a row and column form of data format. Eventually, and some plus minus and multiplication and sum total, all those stuff. Eventually, when they saw that this date, they are capturing data, right? So they have to do analysis on that data. So this Microsoft people, they included something called data analysis add-ins in their Microsoft Excel to do basic data analysis stuff. But initially, Excel was built just to record data and do some basics plus minus stuff. What it lacks, first of all, is now we are dealing in the age of living in the age of big data, wherein we have massive amount of data coming in your way, huge quantum of data getting generated every single minute, every single hour. So those, and you cannot do analysis with 1 month data. If you are doing analysis on 1 month data, you are not able to find the trend, you are not able to find the pattern. So obviously you will have to take data ranging for 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, and all those data you will not be able to analyze in Excel. First thing, okay, you'll not be able to analyze in Excel. If the number of row line items goes beyond 10,000 or 20,000, your Excel will crash. Okay, so this capacity of Excel limits the use of Excel. First thing. Second thing is, lot data analysis is not only about creating charts that is there in Excel. Okay, it's more than that. You have lot of tests, chi-square test, you have t-test, you have hypothesis testing. All these testings you can perform in Excel, but not to great extent that I mean the way we can do in R and Python. Third is reproducibility. Now, I'll take a simple example. I'm doing sales analysis or an attrition analysis for my client, and I'm doing with the help of Excel. Okay, I did all this pivot and charts, everything I have created. Now, if tomorrow some other client comes up and tells me that, hey, Deepak, you do this analysis for me as well. So I'll have to start from scratch. I'll have to start from scratch. But if we have done this initial task of attrition analysis in R and Python, so for the second assignment that we get, we just have to run those codes on the revised data or on the new data coming from the new client. So reproducibility is one such great advantage that we get from R and Python. And nowadays, predictive analytics, as I said, that predictive analytics is what companies are looking for. And that is one restriction that we have in Excel. In Excel, you cannot do predictive analytics. For predictive analytics, you should have linear regression, logistic regression, time series analysis, clustering, all those stuff. And all those stuffs you can find only in advanced data science tools like R and Python. Now, again, nowadays, data science is not only limited to understanding the data. It has gone beyond understanding the data. It has gone to the area of machine learning and deep learning, where you train your machine to start thinking like human beings. If I'm sitting here, I see 10 lines of data, and I can with these 10 lines of data and analysis and finding pattern, doing charts, as a human being, I can tell that this is the pattern and this should be the result for the next quarter. But this power, the power of thinking, which we are trying to give it to the machine, we call it as machine learning. And those machine learning stuffs, those deep learning stuffs, we cannot do in Excel. It has to be done only in R and Python. Excel doesn't have functionality of machine learning and doing deep learning stuff. So that's where we have to move from using Excel to using this programming tools like R and Python. And I don't remember I have used Excel for the last 2.5 3 years. It's only today that Bridge, you send me these queries and we have to do this segmentation, that I used Excel. Otherwise, for my work, I don't use Excel. Even that I have to send an email, I don't use Outlook. I use R for sending an email. Okay, so this R and Python, these two are very versatile language, very great language, and you'll start loving this language once you start understanding this language functionalities and how they work. So that is there. Excel has its limitations, and you can do Excel analysis, but I can say not even 15% or 20% of what data analysis or data science actually means.
Okay, Deepak, again, so actually you said in terms of using Excel, you have said 4 things. One is the quantum of data, right? Where your
Correct.
quantum is used. Excel is like there's a limitation of Excel. And when you say data analytics, you don't only mean creating few charts which are there in Excel. Then you talked about reproducibility. That means every time I have to actually go and work with the same thing. And then you say that Excel predominantly lacks predictive analysis features. So
Yeah.
if again can come back that, if can you tell me one problem, if you can just tell me
Yeah.
that this is the nature of problem, how uh, I will be able to solve with X. And when you give me a problem and tell me, okay, from this data, now try to do X. And then
Okay.
visually I can understand that, okay, Excel will not be able to do this. And hence we need data analytics. So if you can just give us few example where which the importance of this tool will come out
Okay.
without, yeah.
So try to demonstrate with a very simple example that we are doing currently or we have been doing recently. So there is a company out of India, and for them we were doing a predictive analytics for car accident. So our client was an insurance company, and they were having car insurance business. So basis the historical data that they had for last 10 years in their country and in their database, we had to come up with a model which would predict what would be the quantum of damage if my car gets into an accident, and what is the probability that my car will get into an accident. Okay, there were around 80 odd variables, or you can say 80 columns. Okay, and the length of the data was somewhere around zero point 0.8 million row line items, zero point 0.8 million row line items, and you had approx 75 to 80 variables. And in this data science journey, you have to do a lot of feature engineering. And what is feature engineering? When you club 2 3 columns into one column, so your number of columns increases. Okay, so 80 got increased to 120 odd columns. Okay, and that quantum of data, and using uh, predicting what would be the quantum of damage when my car will get into an accident. So if I
Okay,
am a
Deepak, sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
And the reason I'm asking this question because it will help me clarify, and also people like us who are looking at from an outsider, because you are from an insider. So for example, if you said that there's a car insurance company which wants to predict the quantum of claim, right? So
Correct.
if I take an average of, if I put all the data, whatever is the size of the data in an Excel, and just take an average of claim amount, will that not give me a number?
No.
No?
It's not getting taking average and then coming up with the numbers, Bridge. So we had this algorithm called XGBoost. Okay, XGBoost is an algorithm which is very much powerful nowadays, which is used to predict what would be my number, whether it's a regression problem or a classification problem. So mere giving an average. So what is average? First of all, we'll have to understand. Average is all about giving sense where majority of your data is lying in your data points. So that average will not give you the predicted numbers that this would be the average sale. So for example, if you have 100, 120 and 130 sale in 3 months. Okay, so if you club it, so there will be an average sale. So that average amount is not going to be your fourth month sale. Okay, that average tells you that what is the point where majority of your data for those 3 months is lying. So we have a wrong notion that average will give me prediction for the fourth month. No, it's not like that. So you have concept like so in this time series analysis, you have a concept like seasonality, you have concept like trend, you have concept like pattern, which we have to remove from the data before we do predictive analytics. And that's what we cannot do in Excel. So mere averaging and finding the numbers and then telling that this will be the fourth month revenue or sale is not correct.
So if my understanding is right, on the previous example which you gave about the insurance company, so you said that they had, apart from a claim amount, they also had maybe some 70, 80 fields in terms of model of the car, etc.,
Yes.
etc., etc., who is a driver, etc., etc., etc. So when
Yeah.
you mean by predicting the claim amount, you mean that the prediction has to see the correlation between each of these factors and then come out with an amount,
yes,
which is
yes.
extremely difficult to do in an Excel sheet, because
Correct.
what is the impact of each variable on the amount? For that, you have to determine what is the relation between all the variables, take out the
Correct.
variables which are important enough to have some kind of
Correct.
impact, and then to establish a relationship and build a model.
Correct. For example, the frequency of accident was more in terms of, where there was a female driver registered for a car, or there was the propensity of accident was more during the weekends. So those 80 columns or those 120 columns, we'll have to check the correlation with how they're behaving with my target variable, that is my damage, my claims. So that is impossible in Excel. That is impossible in Excel.
And that is
So
also the merit of quality of prediction which you do, because if you factor
correct,
all these things, then your predicted value is not a simple average we would have otherwise calculated in an Excel
correct,
sheet. So that's the basic
correct.
difference.
And simple average and simple average is not at all a predictive number, Bridge. Simple average, I mean, is what so this mean or average that we call is basically a measure of central tendency, which says if you have 100 data points, which is the number where your majority of data points are lying. Okay, so it is not the case that the next prediction will obviously lie in that region, in that centrality region. So that is totally a misconception, or I can say incorrect, that we say that we can find an mean and say that this would be the predicted value for the next one. That's totally incorrect.
Understood, Deepak. Thank you for clarifying that, because that also shows that when you mean by data analytics and you're talking about prediction, you're talking about the accuracy of predictions. So by
Correct.
simple average also I can do a prediction, but that prediction may not be accurate. So I
Correct.
think accuracy factor of prediction is very high when you use these analytical tools, and that is
and
what company value.
correct. And when you are doing this average, right, you are just taking one variable into account, right? Sales ka aap average kar lete ho, and then you say, but that sale, has a dependency on market spend. That sale has a dependency or on, geographical location, in a population. So all those factors you will have to take into account in order to arrive the correct numbers, predicted sale number for the next quarter or next month.
And that is that also shows that the reason why companies are heavily investing in terms of on data analytics tool to give them a prediction in terms of insurance or etc. So because they find that the earlier method, maybe an average or some other methods, they're not, and the new methods, and that when you use these tools and come out with the predictive value, the values now are more accurate, are more close to
Correct.
reality than the previous one.
Correct.
And hence, use a huge difference to do it. This, and more importantly, these tools are more also scientific. It's like
Correct. I'll take current scenario, which the pandemic scenario that we are facing right now. So these people, how they are predicting that this July end will be a peak for India, because they are doing time series analysis in R, because they are taking into account all the factors, all the features in their analysis, and they are doing this statistical analysis, mathematical analysis, and feeding those data in R, and the R is giving them the number that by July end there will be around 11 lakh cases approx in India if the trend goes like this. So that analysis you cannot do in Excel. Okay, that analysis you cannot do in Excel.
understood, Deepak. I think, Deepak, we are on fourth question and we have already 40 minutes into the webinar, 20 minutes to go. So I think now is the time where we can maybe rush a little bit. For I think basic understanding is about awareness, which we actually trying to create in terms of making people aware the power of data analytics, so that each,
Correct.
in your example, there are 80 variables. All 80 variables ka relationship on the target value, which is maybe claim, that all has to be calculated, correlation has to be established, and then a model has to build. So it's a very
Correct.
complicated thing, not a very simple thing of doing an average, which we normally do it in Excel.
Correct.
Great. Interest in zeal to learn, that's a paramount in case you want to get into data analytics, because you have to move out of your comfort zone. And
Correct.
so interest and zeal to learn is I think is paramount. Do you need a prior experience?
No, zero. I'll say zero. I'll say zero. You
A
don't
prior
need
experience
prior
of what?
experience.
Of
I think they mean that prior experience of coding or statistics or mathematics. That's what they are. No, I think this question means.
uh,
Uh,
Yeah, Deepak,
And
continue.
yeah, so you don't need a prior experience. I mean, it's very difficult to learn. So there is something called learn, unlearn, and relearn concept. So whatever, if you're coming into this data science field, you have to forget whatever you have learned about data science previously, whatever you have learned about statistics previously. Okay, you start fresh, and I think then the things will fall in place. So no prior experience in coding, no prior experience in statistics and maths is required. So I come from a finance background. I didn't have coding experience. I didn't have statistics, advanced statistics experience. I didn't have advanced mathematics experience. I was pretty much very bad in mathematics, and I hardly used to know get numbers and pass. So no prior experience is required. It's just your dedication is required for the first 1.5 month. That's it.
And also this question when you say no prior experience, because I recall when you said the starting thing, the most important thing is your understanding of business. In
Correct.
terms of your priority of things, one is understanding of business, second is zeal to solve the problem, and I think then you went to the coding is the last bit in your list of
Yeah.
priority. So in terms of number of because normally what happens is one of the common catch which people think is that they think that this is for the new generation or people who are just starting up, this is a field for them. They normally see that I have 20 years of experience in a particular field. If I go and learn this, what is the value for me? I will be like at par with a graduate. I mean, this is
Mhm.
one. So when you say a prior experience of one is not having an experience of coding, that is what you've explained, but having an experience of business, how helpful it is, and what how that helps in data analytics if you have a prior experience. Because normally people discount all the experience which they have, and then they say that I'm if fresher also can do it, I can do it. Then what is the difference between me and fresher?
No, so that's where there is a, I think, myth around in the market that people think that getting into data science is all about changing their domain entirely. This should not be the case. Now, I have been doing accounting and I have been doing accounts for my last 10 years or 7 years. So I have learned data science and I have not changed my domain from finance and going into I can say um, image recognition thing or robotics thing or a chatbot thing. I am using the power of analytics to do time series analysis. I am using power of data science to do sales forecasting. I am doing data science to do cash flow projections. So it's not that you learn data science and you shift your domain entirely. You see that the domain that you are working. So this is for finance people, and finance people, you have use of numbers everywhere. So you have to see that which area you should use that analytics. For example, there is a candidate of mine who was doing this fixed asset accounting. So he didn't have any CA qualification. He was a normal graduate, and he was looking after fixed assets of a renowned company. So we got into talks, and he learned the concept of data science. And what is he doing right now? He is using the concept of data science to predict when will a fixed asset you know become a failure, when will be the fixed asset needs overhauling for the next time. So this is how he is using the concept of data science into the domain which he is himself working. So this domain change, obviously, if your domain, you are not liking the domain that you are working in, you can learn data science and you can shift your domain. But it is always advisable that the domain which you are working in, you have that domain experience, you leverage that domain experience, because at the end of the day, learning codes and understanding what data science will be of no use if you don't have domain expertise. So it's all about understanding where you can apply that domain data science capability and using it to the fullest. You need not change your domain altogether.
Okay. The next question is about also about getting entry into the field of data analytics at 57 years, 27
Yeah.
years plus 30 years of experience as MCMA.
So I think the
I don't know how to
person
do
who
that.
would have given this question, he would be around 55 or 57. That's why this question has come up. I'll give a simple example. There's a friend of mine based out of US. Her name is Jennifer Hooper. So she is around 48 years of age, and recently she learned this data science thing, and she got promoted and she got hired by one of the very renowned bank in US. And what she's doing data analysis. Using data analysis, she's understanding the credit worthiness of a loan applicant person. So age is not the barrier, and she started learning data science just last year, and at the age of 48, within a span of 1 year, she mastered herself, and she got promotion, and she got rehired to a new bank. So age is not the barrier. Age is not the barrier.
Okay, thank you, Deepak. Lack of skill, yeah, a lack of skill is what, and lack of skill and myth around data analytics. That's what trying to clarify. Basics of data science. Uh, uh, Also, Deepak, okay, basics of. Do you want to cover difference between data science and data analytics?
So that's what I mean. The person who are doing predictive analytics, that is data science, and those who are basically doing descriptive analytics, just creating pivots and charts and understanding what has gone wrong and how things have changed for the past, historical data. The people who work with historical data, they are termed as data analysts or data analysis, and the person who are working in terms of doing prediction or doing predictive analytics, we call it as data science, because in that data science, you have the concepts of statistics and maths for the algorithms to work.
So by that definition, we are talking about data science.
Correct.
Okay. Then is lack of awareness. Yeah, there is a lot of lack of awareness. That's how we have this. We have this webinar.
And there is one thing which I would like to reiterate, that these educational institutions, like I'll not name any educational institutions, but these educational institutions, whenever they create course uh, uh, for people to I'll say misguide. Okay, it's a little on a harsh side, but myself, couple of years back, I tried to get into one of the course, and when I got into that course, I was from finance background, right? So I didn't know anything about coding, but they had this presumption that the person who is coming, he would be knowing Python, and they started from a intermediate level. So all these people, all these educational institutions who boast of giving data science training and this program, that program, to education, to students, they're creating curriculum in such a way that it suits the computer science background people. So eventually what happens is, a lot of candidates of mine, they have invested a lot of money in these educational institutions. A friend of mine based out of Mumbai itself, so she spent around 4.75 lakhs, a very very big institute. And eventually what happened is, they'll say that uh, uh, it will be 100 hours of training, 150 hours of training, but after 30 hours of training, you yourself will lose interest. जैसे कि भैया ये तो पूरा कोडिंग हैवी है और अपने को आता नहीं है कोडिंग, and you will lose that 4.75 lakhs that you have investment and plus time. Okay, so we and this is an overwhelming area, Bridge. So we have to understand what is required for me. सीए में हम लोग को बोला जाता था कि यू नीड नॉट सॉल्व एंटायर 100 मार्क्स का पेपर, बिकॉज अब सब करने के चक्कर में आप क्वालिटी भूल जाओगे. सो मेरे को उतना ही करना है जिससे हम पास हो सके. I have to do 60. If I'm able to do 60 marks question, 60 marks paper, and that 60 marks is brilliant, I'll attempt only 60 marks. So that is there.
Yes, I think this is also a very important point, because I've also come across a lot of people who join Data Analytics Institute, and they are predominantly, they are catering to engineers, and they start with a lot of programming language, etc., which is quite intimidating to begin with. I think that is
Correct.
how this program, where it's called Data Analytics of Finance, predominantly it's on for people like you, me, who are from finance background and want to enter into data analytics. That's how this course is created for them, so that they can start doing data analytics independently without losing interest and without have to undergo 1,000 hours of effort. Right.
Correct.
A lack of awareness, don't have proper skills, knowledge of coding. time and motivation, yes, you would require time and motivation, and particularly in the beginning when you're starting the program, because that is a time
Correct.
where a lot of effort goes in and you will not see any, maybe very few output coming out. So that's a critical period where you have to hold on and be with it. Subject knowledge, as you said, just a common good understanding of business and common sense will help you to get started. Required skill set, in terms of required skill set, what do you say, Deepak, predominantly from again from finance people who want to enter into this, what is the skill set which they should have uh,
Uh,
to
See, a
start
bridge.
to start practicing this independently, the journey? So
Okay, so obviously for the first 1.5 month, it would be a hand-holding exercise, where we guide them how to write a code. Okay, each and every code, and they themselves will feel that after 1 month they are able to write 100 lines of code by themselves. Okay, so required skill set, I'll say nothing. Okay, it's only dedication, and I keep on telling my candidates wherever I go, whichever seminar I take, that 1 hour of coding is must, or 1 hour of learning is must. So I'll tell my experience every given day. Today also, morning when I wake up, I do 1 hour of browsing, internet browsing, to find whether there is any new happening in the area of machine learning and data science. I have 10 or 20 websites list which I keep on every day for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, or if I'm in car, I'll just browse through and see what is there. So this is a continuous learning, guys. So 1 hour of training, 1 hour of coding every day is equal to 365 hours of coding. And eventually, after 10 days, you'll see that you will get engrossed in such a way that wo 1 ghanta will increase to 2 hours and 3 hours, and you will not feel heavy. Will not feel heavy. You will start, enjoying the coding. So the required skill set is, just motivation and dedication, and just 1 hour every day. I'll say just 1 hour every day you'll have to give.
and motivation more so in the beginning phase, because that's the phase where a lot of people will drop out. So
Correct,
yeah,
correct,
so
correct, correct,
initially once you are able to overcome the initial period, then it becomes very, then you enjoy the journey. So, and also I
correct.
think when you said that it's a continuous learning, the value of
Mhm.
a particular field, I think if there is no new learning coming into the field, then you find suddenly there is so much of supply of resource. There are so many people who are able to do the simple task that the
Correct,
economic value come down. But however, if
correct,
in a field where you continuously have to learn, and also you can see
correct,
economic value is much more, because
correct.
yeah, because experience, etc., plays extremely important role in this field.
Correct. Yeah, correct. If everything becomes stagnant and everyone knows everything, then the value you are, so there is no additional value that you are creating.
Right. Awareness about data management. So, data analytics and data management. I mean, I think what they mean by data management would be a database management. So,
Correct.
this
So
data.
database management is different ball game altogether. So we have data engineers who do this data management in SQL or all these database management softwares. So for you, as a data scientist, we need not bother about this data management. So big companies, they have database management people, and they will provide you the data that you require, and on that data that you have to do analysis. So maintaining the data is not your task.
And also, I think for small companies, also what they do is for when you are building an architect or an application or any product, you hire an engineers who will set up your
Correct,
database, and
correct,
then you
correct,
start working. And data analytics is basically taking out data from these system and then making business case or doing predictive analysis out of that. So these two are totally different.
correct.
Time and money. Time would be. Uh, how would like to say, Deepak, how much time it would take? Because time is also a factor of how experience, or how maybe time means how much time it will take for you to independently start using data analytics tool. I mean, that is how I'll put it, because otherwise there's never ending to this journey in terms of how much time you require.
So, as I said, that it is just a matter of 1.5 month, wherein you will have to, see the codes and then type the codes. After 1.5 month, you will be proficient enough to write 100 lines of codes on your own. Okay, for a simple example, if I have to do a scatter plot in Python, so for that I'll have to see. So you people will have to see the codes which is there, and then do the coding in your system. but eventually after 1 month you will be able to do the coding on your own without looking. So one
So-
month, 1.5 month.
So 1 month means how much hour in terms of, if you put in terms of number of hours, Deepak, it would be
Around
roughly,
30 hours,
30 to 40
35
hours,
hours.
30 to 40
Yeah.
hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Data analyst is a job to give a lot of solution to rectify the problem.
Data analyst is a job to give. I think this is more of a statement than a query. And yeah, we try to solve problem, because at the end of the day, as a data is all about, data analysis is all about solving problem with the help of data.
Okay. Non-IT background we have discussed extensively. Lack of knowledge in
And this is
technology.
Bridge, this is actually a very high myth that is created by computer science or technical people. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because I'm into this background, and uh, so this is a very lucrative thing that is there. Now if I have a very beautiful cake, obviously I'll say I want the entire cake for myself, right? I'll not try to part away with any slice of that cake, correct? So I think there is there is I can say a very strong myth that has been created, that it's only for IT people. It's not for IT people. Data analysis was built for non-IT people, and this IT people, what they have done, they have created a very a dark cloud in front of all of us, that it's for IT people and a lot of coding, this and that. So it's totally myth, totally myth.
Just to add to Deepa what you said, one is maybe IT people trying to create that this is an extremely tedious journey or difficult thing to do. But I think also people from finance fraternity feel that it is too difficult, because I have seen in a lot of job openings, they say that anyone who can, irrespective of stream, they can actually come and do data analytics, and that's normally the job
Correct.
profile which comes out. They never say that it has to be computer science, etc., etc.
Correct.
That is a requirement when they have software coding thing, like maybe developing a software, developing a database. In that case, they have this computer science background requirement. When it comes to data analytics, I think it's open for all. I mean, that's normally I have seen.
Correct. Correct.
Then it's an age. We said age is not a limit. Experience is not a limit. Technical knowledge of software programming, you need it, but I think you can easily learn that. Literacy of system, lack of IT knowledge, no experience, not known at the moment, costly to learn. Mindset.
Uh,
Okay, you want to
I,
say?
I'll just yeah, I'll say this costly to learn. This example that I've taken, a friend of mine, so she had spent around 4.75 lakhs. So you'll have to see what you want to learn. Okay, first thing that. So a month back, a student of, I mean, a prospective student came to me and say, see these people, and I think uh, Bridge, you would have also encountered that person, that he said that आप लोग का course is for 30 hours, and उस 30 hours में what course you were, what content you are providing, and this particular institute, they are giving 100 hours of training, 200 hours of training. And we told him specifically that after 30 hours you will not be able to concentrate, and we are dropped out within that 40 within the 30 hours time frame. Okay, and for that 100 hours and 200 hours of training, you know these institutes, they are charging hefty amount of money. See, 4.75 lakhs is a good amount, Bridge. Okay, and at this point of time in this pandemic season, every penny counts. So we'll have to be very much cautious to identify whether I need to go to that particular institute, because they can say that we'll give you 200 hours of training, and they'll say we will teach you R, we'll teach you Python, we'll teach you Tableau, we'll teach you Power BI, everything they will give. And that would be just scratch the surface, Bridge. Just scratch the surface. And at the end of the day, after the course, after 50 hours of training that you have done, you will feel like, oh, I have not learned anything, because they will just scratch the surface. That's it.
Okay, Deepak, thank you. Costly to learn, mindset, lack of machine learning knowledge. Yes, knowing the right resources to use. So, okay. So,
I mean, this you lack of machine learning knowledge and right resources, you will eventually get to learn during the course of your learning.
okay. Now, in terms of opportunities, I think Deepak, we are, yeah, opportunities. Management support and marketing demand. So, what are the opportunities of data analytics? I think these are all questions around that.
So
So,
so for finance people, you have a lot of opportunities. So one simple case that I told you, that fixed asset thing, that and nowadays companies, they are looking for finance people who are very good in analytical mindset, very good in analytical mindset. And on an average, I have done an analysis, and on average, Naukri.com pay, Times Job pay, for this data analysis work, a place is vacant for 7 days or to 10 days. So you can understand the lack of supply that is there in the market. And when you have a lot of demand but less of supply, obviously your bargain to good remuneration compensation increases. So everywhere in finance, and finance is all about numbers, Bridge. So in finance, in every domain, be it sales domain, be it in fixed asset domain, be it in analyzing your attrition level, everything, cash flow projections, everything, you need data science, data analysis thing. So market demand is pretty good in terms of data analysis for finance people.
um, then it is about regulatory challenges, technical skills, and training in the market. Opportunity, does it really exist? So, lack of understanding of future growth. So, how do you see how this data analytics profile will pan out in maybe next 2 years, 3 years? But because it's very difficult to predict what will happen 10 years down the line, but maybe 2, 3, 4 years. How do you see, Deepak, things moving in this direction? Yeah.
So a bridge, in this 2018, there was a World Economic Forum in Davos, and they predicted that by 2022, traditional finance work, traditional bookkeeping, traditional accounting stuff will. So they segregated these 3 4 jobs and works to be the top 10 declining stuff. Okay, top 10 declining stuff. And data analysis and data scientist was the first top emerging jobs. Okay, and for the next 5 years or and 10 years, it's all about data. हमारी जो finance minister हैं, उन्होंने भी accept किया है कि data is the new fuel. And our government, they have kept budget for this data analysis and data science thing. So you can understand the importance of data that is getting generated each and every moment in our life.
Lack of understanding of future growth, stability in jobs. Um, uh, is there anything called stability in job? I mean, in today's time, uh,
I mean, there is no stability as such, Bridge, but it's all about upskilling yourself. Okay, it's all about upskilling yourself. Even today, if I don't upskill myself in this field, and after 5 days I'll get redundant. I'll not know what is the new algorithm that has come up in the market and what is the other way of doing this analysis. So it's all about upskilling yourself. And in that World Economic Forum itself, they said that every year by 2022, every year an individual, a professional, should have 101 hours of learning every year. So this continuous learning and continuous upskilling you will have to do to become, what we call as the stability in our job life.
Yeah. I want to start a service providing company database. So I think it means that something like what you're doing, a consultancy in data analytics.
Correct. That's what we are doing.
Job career opportunities, lack of knowledge on how analytical industry work. So Deepak would like to spend some time on terms of how this entire analytical industry work in terms of if someone is doing analytics, data analytics, where he would get opportunities. So the opportunities is either in job or in consultancy or as a freelancer or as, I mean, how this entire industry is in terms of opportunities.
So all the avenues are open for you, Bridge. So I learned this data science, data analysis thing, and I am doing consulting. Okay, I'm doing consulting. You can do freelancing as well, and you can get into a job as well. So all these avenues are open for you. Okay, you can start your own venture. You can start your own company providing analytics services. to your clients. So that's where consultancy peeps in. Then you have a job career. You can join any good analytics company or any company for that matter. Okay, any company for that matter, and you can have your job career, and you can you can be sitting here in Calcutta or there in Mumbai, and you can be doing work for London-based company. So you can do a freelancing job as well. So you just need a laptop and internet connectivity to do data analysis and this stuff. So you can choose
Okay.
any avenue. You can choose any avenue
Okay.
based on your suitability.
Okay. Then is data analytics make me confident and safe, secure career? We have talked about it. I am a qualified CA, age 36 plus. For the last 7 years, I am not attached to any profession. I intend to return to profession. Can I pursue data analytics?
Very much, very much, very much, sir. I mean, you can do. Age is no bar, and continuity of the profession is no bar.
Yeah. Skills and lack of, and also I think on this point, even the same advice I gave to one of my senior who's working with in Dubai, who wanted to come back to India and start a practice. I told him that you should seriously consider starting a practice in data analytics rather than actually starting a practice where you do auditing, etc. You can look at this avenue because it's something new, and I mean, and there are a lot of opportunities which are coming
Correct.
up. So
Correct.
skill and lack of knowledge and opportunity for chartered accountants prospects is in the line of activity. I don't know what this means. Okay, so I think I just go to the next slide. In finance, what is the importance of data analytics in finance? I think we have already covered that. Data analytics job and passion for finance stream. Being a CA, how can I get introduced into this and after having more than 7 years of work experience? So I think we have covered that in terms of how you experience your prior experience. We should not hinder you into taking up new things. So I think it's a big mindset which people say that okay, I'm a CA or I'm a cost accountant and I'm a BCom and
Correct.
then I've done a work in finance and now how do I enter into this domain? So I think this domain has got huge application in finance. So I need a proper use of data analytics, statutory audit. I need proper use of data analytics in statutory audit and internal audit. Is data analytics used in statutory audit and internal audit?
Obviously, very much, sir. सिंपल से एग्जांपल हम आपको देते हैं कि व्हेन वी वर डूइंग दिस आर्टिकलशिप ट्रेनिंग अपने सैम्पलिंग कैसे करते थे व्हाई हाउ यूज्ड टू डू सैम्पलिंग अपने 3 क्वार्टर का ऑडिट करने आते थे 3 मंथ का ऑडिट करने जाते थे वी यूज्ड टू टेक फर्स्ट मंथ का 10 डेज का सैंपल उठा लिया सेकंड मंथ का नेक्स्ट 10 डेज का लाइक दिस सैम्पलिंग and this sampling was not scientific, right? This sampling was not scientific, and because of this sampling there was no issue. We used to do vouching for those samples, and when our principal used to come and say is there any issue, we used to say nahi abhi to issues kuch mila nahi hai, because the sampling methodology was incorrect. Now cut to, if I do a simple inventory analysis to identify which inventory of mine has a very high inventory turnover ratio and which inventory is lying unused. Simple analysis agar hum log karte hain, we will pick those items, those outliers. We can go and do a physical verification to see whether that particular items they are perishable and what is the physical conditions, and we'll come up with the issues. So I mean, what sampling is one simple example we can use in terms of internal audit and statutory audit.
Yeah. Understanding the dynamism of data analytics for accounting and financial profession seems to be a real challenge across the country. What exactly these professionals really need to understand in terms of basic and fundamental data analytics and why it's important for them?
So Bridge here, I mean, this is a very long question, but I'll say, so that is one advantage we have, we understand business. So हमको domain समझने की जरूरत नहीं है अभी, क्योंकि हमारे पास obviously domain knowledge है. We are very much efficient in understanding the numbers. So what we have to do is we have to learn that tool. जो second part जो है ना, जो first 2 point is we have already covered. We have domain experience, we know numbers, we are very comfortable with numbers. Okay. So the third point which I said, that we now will have to add an extra armor in our archery. So that extra is understanding how Python works, how R works, how this programming language works. If I'm able to add that extra tool in my skill set, I mean, it can do wonders. It can do wonders.
Okay. Finance reconciliation profile. So I think irrespective of your profile, I think this knowledge can be used. I'm strong in finance, how it will benefit me. I think we have talked about it. How analytics help in financial domain. We have talked about it. Not sure how data analytics finance professional. I don't know what is this question. The next one, learning data analytics. This is a big list, and then there's another question, and then we go to Surinder. Can you, Deepak? Can you quickly let's cover this up? See the best course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go
Maybe.
ahead, go ahead.
What all skill set or software knowledge that a finance profession we must know in the field of data analytics, machine learning curve in switching over. Yeah. So this is a so what is the learning curve in switching over? Normally, people who want to switch over, how
Mhm.
is that journey? So I think we have Surinder who will actually shed some light in this in terms of what happens when you switch over from not switch over, I would say, but you learn a new thing. I would not say switching
Correct.
over. I think for working professionally, I always say that I think you learn this skill and then find out avenues in your existing work how where you can apply this. That's much easier to extract value. Identification of techniques for various types of data, managing routine compliance matter in office, and investing time to learn
And
analytical techniques.
Brij, I'll just sum up this. I know I've gone through the queries that have been posted. So here, people are not sure about where they should go for learning and how they should learn. Correct. Since this is a very vast field, very overwhelming field, and there are a lot of institutes that are coming up and say that we provide you this knowledge, that thing, this thing. So people are not aware. So um, our advice is choose 20 hours, 30 hours of any course which has not more than 30 hours or say 40 hours of training. You understand whatever is required for you. Okay. And our course bridge that we had created we have created is precisely hitting that same target. And we launched this course precisely for finance people, that my finance people need not know that how to build an app, okay, how to build a predictive app, okay. He should know how to do prediction, how to do sales prediction, how to do cash flow projections. He should know that, okay. And that's where we are focusing, rather than making you learn n number of things. Okay, so this is how your data analytics learning should shape. You eventually start learning with one programming language, and you start only those stuffs that are equivalent and related to you. And you need not go for rigorous 200 hours or 100 hours of training, because then you'll just keep on learning and learning and you'll not get a kickstart. Okay, so that kickstart is where after 25-30 hours of session training, you get that kickstart. Hello, Bridge, are you audible?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. So I said
Yeah.
that I think this is the on data related sources and credibility of data, availability of quality data, and what is big data. So how this impacts data analytics.
So nowadays, companies, they are having good database management systems to store data in a much more structured way. Earlier, the method of storing data, capturing data was not as sophisticated and advanced and technologically sound as we have right now. So credibility of the data is pretty good nowadays. Quality of data is obviously very good. And what is big data? Big data is nothing but when you have huge quantum of data with you, which you have stored in a structured way. We call it as big data. Nothing hi-fi word in it. So all these terms, big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So these are like uh, mind buster thing. So people feel overwhelmed that all these are big stuffs and I will not be able to understand what is big data, what is Python, what is R, and all this.
Okay. I think next what we'll do, Deepak, is we'll take Surinder because Surinder's journey, how it has been, and then what we'll do is we'll take up. There are a few questions also in the chat, so we'll take up this question and then
Correct.
we'll wind up. Okay. So
Correct.
this is Surinder. Surinder, would you like to unmute yourself? I know you were there and you wanted to always speak, but
Uh,
Surinder, can you please tell us about how has been your journey in terms of because if you've seen in the entire thing, there are a lot of people have fear of coding, understanding data analytics. So you have heard this out. So why don't you take us in terms of how what you have done? Where are you?
Actually, I have no coding background, prior coding background. But actually, I was looking for something which make me relevant. And everywhere there is a around 2 year back there was a I read an article where they are talking about that what are the new technological development is happening and how it is going to affect the market, future market of finance professional, banking industry. So I was thinking on this subject that how to keep me relevant in the this new era. So I was looking. I enroll for. I was actually a business analyst course somewhere. So there I have a some idea that actually we need to use some tool to do the all this analysis, and we are actually we know all these things, but we have done this stats in our BCom, and what is lacking that how to club all this together. So when I get to know about this
हिंदी में बोलो.
course started by this uh, by you, uh, then I thought that it's a relevant course, so give it a try, and I enroll. The first thing that yes, there was a fear in me that I have to write 100 lines of remember number of cumbersome code. But actually, I this found this Python is a very natural English. All the codes are very natural. It's a very simple, and it's simple. So yes, initially in the first 30-40 days, I was I was not able to understand. But once more thing, I started visualizing, and yes, being a working professional, yes, there is a challenges in sparing time for this thing, but somehow I curtail on another thing, and I have spare time, dedicated time, and it I yes, every day I am doing it, and I really now I have picked the things. So yes, it's really interesting. And I also discovered that in YouTube, I found that kids are also learning Python. So it's nothing very easy. It's a good language, and I will able to do.
Okay, Surinder. I think I'll just take chat question. Uh, uh, hello, what is the cost and duration of learning and Python? So I think on cost and duration, I will revert to him on email. Rahul is saying, do we need to learn complete Python or Python for finance?
So we need not understand the entire Python thing. We will have to learn Python for finance, because Python may you have thousands and thousands of libraries and packages that are used, but we will be learning only those packages that are relevant for data analysis. Okay, so that's our forte.
Okay.
We will stick to what is required for finance.
Then another question is data analytics is done in which platform? SAP, JD Edward.
So this SAP and JD Edwards, they are not basically data analysis tools. They're sort of data management tool, you can say. So they give you reports. They give you reports. But what does that report mean what each line item means is what data analysis is. So from SAP and JD AdWords, you have reports coming out, and you can use that report for the purpose of data analysis. So data analysis predominantly done with the help of R and Python.
Okay. Okay. So there is Sandeep who says that please share the syllabus. So we will email him the syllabus. Then there is someone called Gabby who writes that what about Google Go? Is it related? I don't know what is Google Go. You know, Deepak, what is Google Go? Is it related to us?
No,
Data analytics?
so Google Go is a GUI based analytics tool that is there, but this GUI tools is nothing but drag and drop functionalities, right? So this drag and drop functionality tools, they are very much restricted, and you cannot do data science, even 10 or 20% data science in this thing. So whoever is there in data science field, there is a person called Hadley Wickham. So so I follow him very closely, and he is my, you can say, the guru. He's based out of New Zealand, and he's written a lot of packages for our programming language. And the other day I was having conversation with him, and he shared with me an article that you cannot do a data science with the help of click. You'll have to do data science with the help of code. So he said C square. So click gone and code come in. So that's the power of coding and the disadvantages of using GUI thing.
Thank you, Deepak. I think with we had this, we have taken all the questions. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Surinder. And thank you everyone for attending. We have overshoot the webinar by 20 minutes. So apologies for that. And have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brice. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.